Hiya, it's Owlet here, and it's been a very long time since my last Doctor Who review because we have been avidly waiting the 50th Doctor Who special. So as you can see, I am all Doctor Who'd up. Is that a term? It is now. So I thought, how many different things can I reference in one outfit? And after the special, it turns out quite a lot because I've got the glasses like Yes from the 50th special, I've got my scarf, I've got my TARDIS t-shirt, I've got Fez, pretty much set. And that is essentially, I think, how they approached the 50th anniversary special. They're like, let's throw in all the references, which is really great. It was packed full of whimsy. I think overall I would say that the episode was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. So there was whimsy everywhere. It was the most whimsical whims that ever whimmed. That's enough of that. But you know what I like with my whimsy? Plot. And I don't mean like 3 plots running alongside each other, overlapping in ways that don't make sense, which I feel like that's what was happening in the 50th. I feel like there was this epic turmoil of 8½, making the decision about whether or not to blow up Gallifrey, which was just kind of tucked to the side. It was almost, it became the backstory, and the real story became trying to stop the Zygons from blowing up London, which is fine. I mean, have Alien of the Week, definitely, but don't have Alien of the Week with massive Gallifreyan consequences and then 10 accidentally marrying the Queen. It's like, what? It was great seeing 10 and 11 parry off each other. They were really great in their banter. I feel like John Hurt's character had so much potential and was set up to be so intense and so burdened by his decision. And I think Paul McGann in the Night of the Doctor special really showed that. And it was a very weighty decision that he made to regenerate, to become the warrior instead of the Doctor. But then in the episode he was very nonchalant about the whole thing. Like, he was making references to cup of soup and sand shoes and dicky bow ties, and he didn't seem so concerned about what was going on back in Gallifrey. And it was very cool seeing Bad Wolf. I liked Bad Wolf. I'm glad they used Billie Piper in that way, because I really didn't want just another excuse for Ten and Rose Tyler to make out, because that's been done so many times now. I think it's just, I know there are lots of Rose and Ten people out there, and I'm so happy for your ship, but just let it go. There's a whole universe, and they've made out in many different parallel universes. It's fine. Let's move on to new Doctors and new companions, which, to say with Clara, was great. But again, she kind of had a background role. It was mainly about the Doctors, and that's fine because it's the 50th Doctor Who special, but a lot of it didn't make sense. I don't understand how they escaped the 11's timeline. Last time we saw them, they were inside 11's life stream in Trenzalore, and now they're not, which is a bit baffling, because basically jumping into your time stream is like jumping into your dead body. You're dead. That's it. I don't understand how we got there. I don't really know if they should have been able to change the course of history. I feel like by putting Gallifrey in a time bubble somewhere in the distant galaxy, it kind of undoes all of the past and changes the future. And while they might conveniently forget that they did that, that also doesn't make a lot of sense, because 11 would remember and 8½, would definitely remember because he turns into 9. And I felt like the episode was definitely written to involve 9, because Bad Wolf was trying to show 8½, what he would become if he made that decision. And to me, it seemed like 10 and 11 weren't actually bad things to turn into, whereas if 9 had been present in the episode, he had that very dark, haunted, fresh from the war kind of post-traumatic stress going on, which you just didn't really see, because 11's more worried about Trenzalore and kind of forgets about the past. And while 10 definitely has regret, there was a lot of love and a lot of hope in 10, and there's always love and hope in the Doctor, and that's great. And it is, you know, masking a lot of his anguish, which he clearly had from the events of the Gallifreyan Time War. But I just feel like the intensity of that moment fell short. I like the idea of them all coming together to press the button, and I feel like that could have been a really beautiful ending. I mean, it would have been devastating, but at least the burden would have been shared. But instead, they kind of just messed with time. And I know it's Doctor Who, and I know you can mess with time, but I'm pretty sure there are fixed points. I mean, even 10 said we shouldn't be allowed to be here, but because Bad Wolf says so, we can do whatever we want. I just don't know if I'm cool with that. But I rewatched it, and I feel like if we just think of it as separate, so let's put it in its own mini universe up here, like far away from everything that's happened, where there is 13 regenerations and they don't remember blowing up Gallifrey, and Gallifrey lives just this once. All of Gallifrey lives. We can just pretend that it was a really good, fantastic little moment in time, which is separate from all other timelines and plots. Kind of like the Marvel universe, where stuff happens and sometimes Captain America's dead and sometimes he's not, and sometimes Wolverine is Sabretooth's father and sometimes he's not. But I'm really not going to go on a comic book spiel. But basically, yeah, stuff happens in other universes and it doesn't necessarily affect one of the main canon streams. So let's just do that and count it up and just, yay, embrace the wibbly-wobbly timey-wiminess of it. Oh, the other thing I didn't understand, which was when the Doctors all came together at the end and they were standing in that big timeline of all the past Doctors, and I just, where is that in the world? Where's that in the universe? I mean, I think it was just a visual representation of all previous regenerations, but like, where in space are all of the Time Lords, or all of the Doctors just standing there and going, ah, isn't space just great? I mean, I'm sure they're doing that, if they could, but that was a bit random. I think that was just for nostalgia reasons. Did a different review when I first got back, and I had to rewatch it and think about it for a bit and condense my thoughts, and this is them. We're done. Bye. Toodles. I really loved the line that John Hurt had about how heroes are forged in fire and it's up to people of lesser yeah, that quote. Oh, never mind.